Another region where e-commerce is growing rapidly is Russia. And for more on that, we are joined by Maelle Cavet, who is the CEO of Ozone, the dominant e-commerce player in the country. Thank you for joining us tonight. We were just talking about the percentage of people who shop online versus overall retail sales. In Russia, it's currently 2%, but the expectation is that it will rise to 5% by 2015. So what are you doing? What is your strategy to really capitalize on that growing market?
Exactly. So it's indeed 2%. It's actually where the US were in 2005. So we still have a lot of room to grow. And for us, most of the growth is going to come from the regions, meaning outside of St. Petersburg and Moscow. And we focus mainly on developing our delivery system to make sure that we cover completely the territory.
Now, you've said before that you're sort of the Amazon of Russia. Do you look at Amazon as an inspiration, or is it a potential competitor for you?
Completely an inspiration. I think they completely transformed retail in the Western countries. We want to do the same with Russia.
Now, you've also said, though, you can't do a cut and paste when it comes to the Russian market. Can you elaborate on that and tell us what is really distinct about the Russian market? What should e-commerce companies understand about doing business in Russia?
I think there are quite a few differences. I think the first is the fact that we have to take care of delivery. As I mentioned before, one of our key focus in terms of strategy for the future is to expand our delivery network. We already have 2,000 pickup points where people come and pick up their goods, and that's for us a key competitive advantage. Amazon, once the package leaves the warehouse, they don't have to worry about, and if there is a problem, they blame it on UPS. We can't. We have to take care of it ourselves. So that's a big difference. The second very big difference is that we do mainly cash on delivery. The Russian consumers pay when it receives the order at his doorstep rather than prepay by card. And that changed completely the process of delivery.
Is there any risk in that, though, if it's cash on delivery, that perhaps the order is not a secure order? Because at least with a credit card, you have that person's information and you can ostensibly get your money for the goods. But when you're paying cash, that doesn't happen. So how does that play into things?
Yes, there's definitely a big change in the process and the security of the delivery. First, because there are a lot more cancellation, or what we call no-show. So people who order and they're not there when we come and deliver. The second thing is obviously our couriers do have to carry a lot more cash than a UPS guy here in the US. So we also have to take care of that very carefully.
And then what about perception of online shopping? Is there confidence in buying things online, or are people still predominantly more comfortable going to a brick and mortar?
I think the trend is exactly what happened in the US 10 years ago. It's happening step by step. The big banks are going more and more online, so online banking is becoming something of more of a day-to-day activity. And because of that, people are more and more comfortable going online. And same thing with shopping.
Is there a difference in, say, U.S. consumers versus Russian consumers in terms of what they want to buy online?
The drivers of online shopping are pretty much the same. You know, it's price, it's convenience, it's choice, assortment. People want a lot at a very low price. And I think that's the same everywhere, be it the US, China, or Russia. I think what differentiates the Russian consumers is one thing, is that they want to see the human being behind the website. So we have call centers who work 24/7. We have people which are Ozone people who are working for us in these pickup points or do the delivery. If you are an Amazon customer, try to find the phone number on their website. You can't. I tried.
Okay, and one other challenge that a lot of tech companies have around the world is really finding talent at a reasonable price. Tell us, what is the state of the engineers in Russia and the prices? I mean, is it as expensive as, say, the engineers are to hire in somewhere like Silicon Valley? And where does the talent come from?
So I think in Russia, we're lucky enough to have a really great pool of engineers. And I think it's not by chance that Russia created a very big tech company. We got Yandex, which is the equivalent of Google in Russia, which is now expanding outside of Russia in Turkey. We got Kaspersky, which is one of the biggest antivirus company in the world, not only in Russia. So there is definitely a pool of engineers and really good capabilities in Russia. As for the price, look, I think any person who is good at his job costs a lot of money wherever it is in the world. So it's the case in Russia, too.
And lastly, we've seen that in terms of international competitors, eBay is in Russia, as is Alibaba. Do you expect to see more international competitors, and what are you doing to prepare for that?
So I think, yes, there's going to be more and more foreign competitors. I think they've been all expanding in their local market, then they went into other Western countries, then they're looking at the BRICS, and definitely Russia is the next step for them. We in Ozone, we are a very paranoid company, so we look at everything and we always worry about what we need to defend or advantage. I think our biggest competitive advantage is the delivery network that I mentioned before. It's our brand, because in Russia, online shopping is Ozone and Ozone is online shopping, is our assortment, because we have the biggest assortment of all the stores available in Russia. And I think these three things really help us to completely be the leader on that market.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
That was Maelle Cavet, the CEO of Ozone.